Hey guys, I'm here with Powerhouse Action Sports, answering a few questions. Yeah, I did. Mostly I played handball, which is a very underrated sport. It's fast and it's a little bit of contact, so I enjoyed it a lot. I played goalie most of my years, but for a short time I also played football, soccer, like you want to call it in the States. Mostly we did that. I was when I was 16. We were regional champions with the team I was playing with in under 16 category, and we had divisions. And in the handball, and I was a national champion in our division, was C out of ABC. Not that impressive, but it was a good time. I really loved that sport. A few years ago, I played a couple of games in the lowest league here just for fun with a team up in Isador, which was good. But and also I don't. A lot of you won't call it a sport. At least it's not a physical sport. But I played chess for around 10 years. I was regional champion for 4 years or something from about 12 to 16 years old. I was always a little bit active, even though it wasn't always training a sport. I was always, if we like in school, in recess and stuff, we were playing football and other sports. But yeah, so basically that's the ones I've been training over the years. But I was 14 when I started powerlifting, and I've stuck by it ever since. So it's been a long time. So basically, yeah, I trained powerlifting as a kid as well. When I was 13, one of my best friends saw an advert for a free 1 month Olympic lifting seminar in Akureyri. And we ended up going, three of us, close friends. And I trained for that month, and I had to choose doing the handball stuff or going to Olympic lifting. And with a little pressure from my parents, I picked the handball at that time. But the following fall, one of them had quit over the summer totally, and the other one changed to powerlifting the following fall. And I joined him at 14 for that, and I've stuck by it ever since, changing to strongman obviously in these last few years. I was with them in the UK when we were 16. We went for a school trip after we finished grade school, and in that trip, I said for the first time I was going to make it to the world's strongest man one day. And almost to the day, in the same month, it was in May when we were there, in May 2019 this year, I got my invite to World's Strongest Man. So it may have taken 20 years, but these guys got me started with me and still got me going, even though they didn't last that long. But I've always credited them for getting me going. Being an Icelander, I obviously have huge idols in the strongman, but also have a few of them that are not Icelandic. Obviously, John Paul Sigmarsson and Magnus Magnusson are giants in the sport. I mean, they held the record for most titles for a long time, and I really looked up to them. I never got to meet John Paul, but I've gotten to compete with, against, and gotten to know Magnus Magnusson quite well, and I'm grateful for that. Bill Kazmaier, obviously, a big legend in the strongman sport. That guy, pure power, was probably one of the strongest ever until one of my biggest idols, Sidrunas Saviskas, got up there. And Sidrunas is a phenomenal strongman. I mean, I think most of the best guys, most of the top 10, probably all of them, point him out when they have to pick the one that's on top of everybody else. I mean, this guy holds so many titles. It's ridiculous. In the powerlifting game, I would say Ed Cohen is the GOAT. This guy is, I mean, that career of his was beyond. But obviously, we have some huge legends also. But the ones I have looked mostly up to is through the years is Ed Cohen and Captain Kirk. These two were the biggest legends I looked up to when I was coming up in the powerlifting game. In 2011, I totaled the biggest powerlifting total in Icelandic powerlifting history. I did it twice actually. I started the year off with my first 1100 kilo total. Not that many guys had done that before me. At least I was one of the. I don't remember exactly where I came in that line, but I was one of the 10 first. I think I was close to being like sixth or something, but I'm not gonna make a statement I can't back up. So somewhere from 5 to 10, fifth to 10th guy to put up 1100 plus. Then again in April that same year I put up 1120, which succeeded Øyvind Jonsson's record of 1175, 1117.5 kilos. And then again I went to Las Vegas in September for Mr. Olympia competition with Steve Donaldson, where I put up 1125. I just missed my deadlift, the grip, in the lockout of a bigger 15 kilo more on the deadlift. I almost made a 10 kilo more on the bench on the third attempt. So I didn't really hit all the numbers. My hamstring injury from 2009 bothered me a lot in that year. It actually affected, so I didn't even hit my best squat in any of these three totals. But my best squat is still from 2009, 435, but 435. But that competition in Las Vegas was a huge one. I really had fond memories. I actually got married on that trip, and so yeah, even a good total and marrying the woman you want to spend the rest of your life with. That was a good trip. Yeah, like I said, I didn't hit a good enough squat, but I went in for a good bench, a PR in both bench and deadlift, close to another PRs in both, and walked away quite happy. And I wasn't feeling that well. I was feeling tired and heavy, but strong. And so the following day, I was going to do a bench only. And as I'm putting on my shirt, my brother-in-law was helping me out. I put like 260 on 3 boards or something, and when it hit the board, usually I could fail 400 or 500, and it wouldn't. Not that I tried, but it wouldn't have affected me. It would lay on the board, didn't bother me. But every time the bar touched the fucking board, my whole chest hurt. And eventually I stopped warming up. I took the shirt off. I went over to some medics, and I said, "This is not normal." And I will admit, I was a little bit afraid of something seriously wrong. But they listened to me in my chest, and they said, "Yeah, you have pneumonia. You know, my lungs were infected full of water." So I actually put up 1125 sick. I just thought I was, in a so much one rep max form that walking 10 meters was going to be getting me tired, but that was not the case. Well, it was the case, but yeah, I was sick as a dog and still put the total up. So even though I'm doing strongman now, and I still feel like I owe myself one more total before I quit. Yeah, of course. I promise. It's not like I carry it around with me though. Um, I didn't hit all the numbers I wanted at that competition. I had some big goals. Uh, Everything was moving pretty fast, like 10 weeks out to 6 weeks out. Then when I was over about 90% on my max, older max, because I was coming back from my injury, uh, above 90% things started really moving slow and really, I really didn't feel like I was getting as far as I wanted. I my balance was a bit off. I realized, for example, I mean, I tore my left Achilles tendon, and at that point, when I was doing some exercises and stuff, I realized that even my left thigh wasn't as strong as the right one. So I'm not worried that I didn't hit the numbers I wanted. I'm happy that I did win because these motherfuckers were strong that day. Guys putting up some big PRs, doing fantastic work. I can't wait to compete against them next summer. But I'm happy that I won that competition, and I did get equal my competition PRs in both deadlift and log. But I'm not worried that these numbers are gonna be the same again because I'm working on all the weaknesses. I'm getting my shoulder better. I'm getting the left and right as strong, equally strong. Getting the balance in there. Couple more months, I'll be really good. I've been putting up some training PRs without belt and deadlifting, without straps, reps in the squats, putting up bigger numbers than I've ever done. Thrown off, I'm at 15 kilos lighter than I was at Worlds, and I'm getting stronger at the same time. Next year is going to be good. Can't wait. Thank you guys for listening. If you listened, at least. Well, if you didn't, you're not getting this message anyway. So, thank you for listening.